Hey everyone, this is Donato Callahan with Stepping Stone Houses, doing another video in our web series on real estate, business, and life. Today's topic is going to be dealing with residents and evictions. Now, first off, if you're someone that's dealing with an unruly resident, or you're in a position where you're looking at potentially evicting a resident, first off, I want to say I'm sorry. I know it's a difficult situation, definitely not what you plan on getting into when you got your rental property, and it can be kind of hairy if not dealt with correctly. I know residents can be difficult to work with, especially if they are responsive to your messages. And so how do you deal with a situation like that is quick, legal, and protects your property from any potential damage? Well, there are a couple ways to do it, and I've seen some things work and seen some things not work. And with the 2020 and how things have been going, especially with the nationwide eviction moratorium, it's important we know exactly what to do and what you can do. So first off, you need to understand the laws and regulations that come with an eviction. Before you can evict a resident, you need to understand how your specific city, how your specific state, your courthouse deals with evictions, the time periods, what type of notifications your residents must be given. And I would recommend discussing with a real estate attorney in your area that can walk you through exactly what steps you need to take in order to legally evict someone. Secondly, have a documented reason for that eviction. If the resident is not paying rent on time or missing utility bills or causing damage or not upkeeping the property in the way that was agreed upon in the lease, it's important that you document exactly what violations were made so that if you are to go before a lawyer or in a judge, you have the documentation, potentially photographs, or the receipts necessary to prove why this person is violating the lease and why this person is being pursued for eviction. Third, try to reason with your residents. If your relationship with your residents is still pretty good and you don't want to sour it, maybe have a conversation with them. This could be the good time to invite them to lunch or go to the property and try to ask, why are these problems occurring? Don't accuse them of things, but ask if something's going wrong or see if you can still work it out. Because remember, eviction can be a long and expensive process. So if there's a way to calmly resolve the situation without having to go through the legal system, that's always the best option. And there's also the potential to do something called cash for keys. I've seen it work a few times. Essentially, if you have residents that you can still work with, it might be a good idea to offer them a certain low dollar amount in order for them to turn over their keys immediately. It could be something that goes like, look, your rent is coming up in 2 weeks from now. I really want to do something new with the property. I'll pay you $300 to give me your keys right now and move out by the end of the week. You give them the financial incentive to move out. You say no hard feelings. We won't get this on your record, and we can just both move on. It can be a nice incentive as long as the relationship you have with your residents is still pretty good. Next, if that doesn't work, you need to give a formal notice of eviction. Typically, leases require at least a 30-day notice before you intend to forcefully vacate the premises. Make sure you have it looked over by a lawyer. In your state, it might vary depending on how you need to deliver that notice. Make sure there's a formal notice that you plan to evict the residents at a certain day. Lastly, if you might have to prepare for a court hearing. Make sure you take your eviction to the courts and prepare for the court hearing appropriately with lease agreements, any missed or bounced checks, the communication between you and your residents, have your lawyer look over the prepared documents, and be prepared to determine and defend your decision for eviction of your residents. Usually, assuming that the eviction is on good judgment and sound basis, the judge will rule in your favor, and the resident will be required to vacate the premises by a certain time. Now, again, I must say, with the 2020 eviction moratorium in place, it's important that you know exactly what your mayor and governor have decided for extensions on the moratorium, and make sure that you're keeping up to date with federal regulations on how property owners and rental owners can deal with unruly residents. Lastly, I know it can be a difficult situation when it comes to working with residents that you don't want there anymore. You thought things were going to be great, and through no fault of your own, things just aren't working out. It's not a fun situation, but take the time to tell yourself that you're not the one that caused the problems, and you did your best to choose these residents. And things don't work out sometimes. But the fact that you're here and learning more about the process shows that you're ready to take the next step. And if you don't want to go through the eviction process and you'd rather just have the property taken care of and maybe move on to different things, you can always work with us. We can work with you with a property that you own, even if tenants are still in place, and we can deal with it. So I appreciate you guys coming out and looking at this video. Leave a comment or just give us a call, and let's see how we can help you guys out. All right, this is Donato Callahan with Stepping Stone Houses. Thanks for listening about this video on how to deal with evictions and residents and rental properties. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.